다시 내래 올라 다자하 back to Yanting. You want to would like to present the prayer? Yeah, thanks, dear everybody. Thank you for joining. And because we always start with some prayer, and even though it's a curriculum teaching, but we always generate bodhicitta, benefit for all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. Particularly this prayer, Tabuka Lineage prayer or Mahamudra Lineage prayer was written by the great master Pengar Jampal Zangpo, which is the topic for tonight. So meditate few seconds and thinking that whether we are studying Dharma or meditation or chanting is for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. So yeah, few seconds generate bodhicitta. So in order to enhance bodhicitta, it is essential to receive blessing. So let's do the lineage prayer. Nyomen donga labo ga jela zoan de sanga jela man. Jubon zeno nambara jen jela jela ganje kambara samba. Senra gala jeme bada senra do jebe ganje. Nigra jemba mi vajan jela maga ganje go zamba de grande bela mala jende so de beganje Jumi maga jeva jela yeme gamje ngujra zamba Kanchado bengo so mande maju de granjo beganjel gamza lo no ro jenjela nando ngo chugu zomba jeya maye chiriyan chawala mangaro prancha beganjel Kunde yemen dobra jela jeva ganda yanda lama Amen juje bala lanje zaba lanje yande raza Duje jange go nyanda Yedo jemo nambandra wala Mujije jijanja vedruna langan jambe yaso bananje tatu jame kaji jijala jakola kata yang temba konde pomben jiru shaje zo de la da jide kala chera jango je jebe vedon da yo demba kane sanje ba kaji rumbu jela za je kate sanje kando nyana yang kate sanje kane labe Pangazawa lama rinpoche, dasandro lana chula je, tongche sancho joan chenje. No, 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 All right. I know. I don't really know a lot of details about presentation, not so professional, but I do my best. Especially, it's very interesting because this topic, Pengar and Jambal Zombo, a lot of people kind of know about this lineage prayer, but Pengar and Jambal Zombo, the author, is not so well known. Kind of very challenging topic. However, uh, uh, he is in our Godian lineage, Kamakaju lineage. When you practice Ngundro and you always visualize, and he is in that Godian lineage. And also, even there's like a well-known historical books doesn't really present. It's very very detailed about Penguin Jamba Zombo. So it's not that easy topic, and so welcome everybody to listen to this kind of challenge topic. However, I do my best, and I think that one of these important part of this life stories, unlike other great masters, this is someone as an ordinary monk and study, meditate, relying upon great masters, and achieve enlightenment within one lifetime. So this is kind of similar to, excuse me, my teacher, or some of you been his student as well, late Kembukantar Mbuche, and I know when I talk about this life story, a little bit like I wouldn't say it brings emotion, but it brings some similarities. Especially, it is very close to Rinpoche's sixth passing nirvana, which is October 6th. So, Penguin Jambal Zombo. First of all, I have a few kind of topics, and the first is where Penguin Jambal Zombo, the author of the lineage master, was born, who the name of the parents, teacher, and then the second is where he received the novice and full ordination. And third is that how he received the teachings from, excuse me, Mahasiddhas or scholars or his gurus. Fourth is how he practiced in isolated place. Practice the unity of method and wisdom. Six Dhammas of Naropa or Mahamudra. And then fifth is how he also liberate or taught the teachings to his students. And also sixth is also how he benefit other sentient beings. And the seventh is when he passed away. There is no clear date of birth and date of nirvana. So they are like something you have to, kind of approximate date. Then the eighth is what kind of commentaries or prayers, or how many prayers he composed. And lastly, where his remaining, the stupa, where did they build? So that is the basically 9 topics. And as I mentioned, that I think it is essentially connected with each one of us who are searching for Dharma, who are trying to practice Dharma. Not just, when we talk about practice Dharma, basically means every study and every meditation has to have a flavor to connect with our emotion and our inner peace, liberation. Otherwise, the more you, there's a saying, when I was in Dharma school, there's a saying that, you may, it's a maybe good a perfect example, but it does capture the meaning. You may die by thirst next to an ocean or next to a river, which means that there's a river you can drink, there's a water you can drink, but maybe you just only analyze about the water, study about the water, but nothing is tested. So which means that, as it mentioned in teachings, that each of this biography is an example of how we can also mature our mind, how we can practice following their example. So first, Pengar Jampal Zombo. So in Sanskrit, his name is Menzshir Banda. Menzshir Banda. Menzshir Banda. So Menz means Jampal, like Menzshir. Shir means glorious. Menzshir Banda is Zambo, which means kind or excellent. So Menzshir Banda is a Pengar Jampal Zombo's name. And the Tibetan name is Pengar Jampal Zombo. And he was born in a place known as Pengar, because we call Pengar and Jampal Zombo. Sometimes, they carry the surname, and sometimes their name, name can associate with the place, which is Pengar is a place where he was born. So in the future, when you study, when you, get questioned by other people, what does Pengar mean? Jambal Zombo, Pengar Jambal Zombo, you say that, oh, that's where he was born, Pengar. So that's enjoy my cup. All my family picture on my cup. And then his father was very, very special, because one of the Naropa's disciple, known as Chujie Zomba, the Lord Zomba, and there's a successive family lineage, all the way to the disciple of Naropa, and also the first to come up with the Sound Chambers guru. And so Pengar Jampal Zombo's father was the brother of that family lineage, and it is mentioned by, In our Kamakaji lineage, there are two very important historian books. One was composed by the 8th Siddhi Chujin Jr., and the other one was composed by the first Pao Rinpoche, Pao Tsulatewa. So these two are very, very important. I'm not sure if it is published in English or not, but these are the two historian books, historical books that we rely upon. So it is said in the Pawatula Tewan's work, known as the Feast for Scholars, the historian book, said that as long as these individuals' family lineage of the successful lineage, family lineage of the Lord Zomba, and when they pass, no matter whether it's male or female, always create relics and a lot of miracle powers. And so Pengar Jamba Zombo's father was the Chuje Zomba's brother, and then known as actually the yogi, known as 100 empowerment, someone who received more than 100 empowerments. And then his mother name was Chuchi Dharma, so Dharma light. And so Pengaran Jampal Zombo means Shir Dharma Bandar in Sanskrit. Yeah, I can see some of you, some Dharma friends in the future. I will ask, what is the Pengan Jamba Zombo Sanskrit name? You have to say Menzi Shir Banda. I may mention the Dharma, there's no Dharma. I think Menzi Shir Banda. So, pretty easy. Muy fácil. And also, it is mentioned by the 8th Sedurumbuche from his work known as the Garland of Crystal of Moon, like Jewel. So that is, there are 3 volumes, historian book, said that as long as the individuals were born in this particular family lineage, and they are all great practitioners. And it's also mentioned that some of them had been the tutor or teacher of some previous Kamapa incarnations, but doesn't say which incarnations. And so that is his the father's lineage, and the mother's name is Chuchidama. And so he had 4 brothers, and he's the youngest one. And he was pretty smart at when he was little, and he was able to read and write Tibetan easily, and was very devoted to Ayatara practice, recite the Tara praises. Especially, he had an uncle. His uncle's name was Lama Churimpa. So he received some empowerments and transmissions. So his uncle also was very exceptional practitioner, and excuse me, he was a very important figure or like individual at Tsubu Monastery, and it is mentioned in the biography of the 5th Karmapa Thongwa Tending, who later became the teacher of Pengar Jamba Zombo, says that in that biography says Kajipa is someone who close to the Kamapa. Genji Zombo also came to Tsomo Monastery and saw the fifth Kamapa, sorry, sixth Kamapa Tuan Tendin, and Kamapa was very pleased, and so they were very close connection. Where Pengar Jamba Zombo as a young boy received some empowerments. So that is the first topic about where he was born, what's the name of the parents, and then some of his earlier child teacher. So now second topic is how he received the monastic vows. And so there was a big monastery known as Yorotol in central Tibet, and a great master told me something Zombo, and when Pengar Jamba Zombo was 19 years old, and he received both novice vow and fully ordained Bishu vow, and so his name then became Jambal Zambo, Menzir Bandra, or Menzishir Bandra. And he stayed there a few years and studied those logics. So Pengar Jamba Zombo, as we normally learn that someone did 18 years retreat in Sky Lake. So that is the well-known story. But he actually, before that, he studied many, many years. And not only that, he became scholarly in that particular Dharma school. And the great master, this Sami Santin Zombo, who venerated Pengar Jamba Zombo, especially the great master Ronten. He received a lot of teachings, and his study perfected. And so that's why sometimes we call Kunchin Jamba Zombo. Kunchin means the omniscient, so scholarly. So that was before he became a great yogi. And then next, that is how he received the vow and how he studied. Next is how he received teachings and practical oriented instructions. So first, the way he was born and father mother. Second is how he received the vow, and third is how he received these pith instructions. And so at Tsomo Monastery, and the fourth Kamapa Rope Doje, and then the very scholarly master Jayun Tendu Wesley, and then Tichikanga Ludu. These are all names of great masters. And he received all those tantric teachings. And also from his uncle, he received the Inner Meaning, which was composed by third Kamapa, and then also the He Vajra Tantra, and Uttara Tantra, which was composed by Matia Buddha. These three are considered very, very important in our Kaju lineage. Nanta Jusam. Nang is the inner meaning. Basically talk about the inner meaning, basically, explaining about how this very physical body can be used, and not just like something we normally receive this physical body as a source of a lot of troubles or such as, but through this presentation, just basically discovering that within this body is the embodiment of channels, bindus, and deities. So it is the source of also enlightenment. So this is something seriously or used in 3 retreat, practicing 6 dhammas, naropa, etc. And then here Vajra Tantra is also very special. And of course, then we got Uttara Tantra, by it's basically talk about every sentient being, no matter who you are, we have Buddha nature. I know Buddha nature is kind of very common name, and so those of you sometimes hear like, oh, Buddha nature, I heard that before. But Buddha nature is so rich because Buddha nature is just 24 hours. Whether you are emotional person or depressed person, or no matter what's going on in your mind, Buddha nature or nature of mind always present for 24 hours. You can be the most deluded person few seconds ago, emotional person. If you utilize those emotions, you can be enlightened the next second. So that's why it's how beautiful that Buddha nature is, because without Buddha nature, there's no hope. And so that's why the Pengar Zangpo was not recognized such, such great master incarnation of such. He was just a simple monk who studied. I mean, that's why, the historian books doesn't even state when he was born. The reason is because when he was born, he wasn't exceptional, very special or something. And especially, born in Tibet, if you are not a reincarnated person, and nobody cares. You are just a monk. Like my teacher, late Khempo Rinpoche, he was born in 1924, April 3rd. 1924 could be totally correct, but April 3rd, it's hard. In Tibet, no calendar, nothing. So, no, for me, I was born 1974. Nobody wants to share the age, but 1974 and not 2000. December 10th. So 1974 is correct, but December 10th, well, if you need a passport, you need a date. So Pengar Zangpo doesn't even have like exact, year. But through the study, you can't guess. So he received the ordination scene was 19 years old, and then slowly he see different masters and such. And then when 1434, 1432, he was traveling with Shama Rinpoche incarnations and some other masters, and went to Kombo, is another part of Tibet, and then Gamde and Damjong. Damjong is also part of Kham area. Let my teacher Kimber used to talk about when he escaped from Tibet. We went to Damjong, and then he met the 6th Karmapa, which became his root guru, which is Tongwa Tendin, 1434. 1434. Along with the Gyatso Rinpoche, His Eminence Gyatso Rinpoche, Panjo Tendru, and they received the 6 Dhammas from Naropa, especially great deal about inner heat, and for 4 years. And it was taught with meditation every day, practice session, teaching session, and everything that he experienced was according to what Kaju instructions explained, and mistakenly explains to all the signs to everything. And sixth Kamapa was extremely pleased. And also he received all the cycle of teachings of pure practice, several. And there's a, at that time there's a Mila painting. It was a, very scholarly Pandita, kind of composed a praise to Pengar Jamba Zombo, saying that you, Pengar Jamba Zombo, and relied upon the great Kamapa, the Lord Tongantendin, and you, served with, he pleased three ways: physically, especially physically, respect, materially offer whatever he had. Especially, you pleased him through experience, meditation. And through that, you are able to, you became the regent of the sixth Kamapa. And you became the object of veneration of all sentient beings. And so when he received all those pure practice, which is not mentioned normally, Pengar Jamba Zombo, normal talk is that he received teaching from sixth Kamapa, meditated 18 years of such, but he was also really into pure practice. And not only that, he went on the mountains or cemeteries. He did those pure practice according to pure teachings. Once your pure practice is a little bit mastered, you must examine your experience, go to those scary places, which he did. And then next, which is the fourth topic, which is how he practiced the instructions in an isolated place. And after receiving these teachings from many teachers, especially from the Lord Tongantendin and the sixth Kamapa, and he meditated next to the great local deity Nyenchi Tangla, next to Sky Lake. There's a little island, and he was meditating there like many, many years. After 7 years, then his guru, Lord Tongantendin, passed away, and then he was supplicating to Lord Tongantendin, and this comes from the wisdom ocean. What's There's the collection of songs, and he was singing this song, saying that so there are many songs, but what does it say? There are many scholarly, many famous, many important gurus, but there's only one kind guru, which was the sixth Kamapa, introduced the nature of mind to him. So he is considered he's the special one. And so according to the great master Kamachami, that Pengar Jamba Zombo, it says the heart son of the sixth Kamapa Tongwantandi, Pengar Jamba Zombo, meditated in the cave of the Tangha mountain for 18 years. For 18 years he was meditating Mahamudra. And that's the time after he finished, then he composed this very famous lineage prayer. Excuse me. The Mahamudra lineage prayer. And of course, Mahamudra lineage prayer is, covers everything. Basically, renunciation, then compassion, and then non-destruction, devotion. So and then realization. Shan, like renunciation, devotion, non-distraction, and realization. I did mention compassion. Compassion is part of that, but this is how he summarized in this lineage prayer. So while he was meditating in this very isolated place, and then he saw that through his vision, through his meditation, he saw the next Kamapa, which was the seventh Kamapa Chuda Janso, and he sang songs saying that, if I'm in the empty mountains, I will be singing songs. So he kind of sings songs about the recognition of the seventh Kamapa. Okay, so he saw those clearly, all the signs, everything. So in his songs, he basically talk about his little experience about meditation, which is, you know, basically talk about, my ordinary body that we normally kind of, complain about and trying to protect about, become the mandala of deities. That's very special because as a tantric practitioner, supposed to see our body is the deities, not just physical pain or such a source of suffering. And he says, he said, I'm so happy, the kind guru. So this is the part. When we have a little, as a practitioner, when we have a little experience, we think that we are proud of ourselves, but it always goes to kind guru. Always think about guru, not because become support of our ego. And then he said that my speech is all the winds enter into center channel. I'm so happy. So there's no, ordinary speech. My mind is always feasting the joy of clear light of Mahamudra. And I'm so happy, kind Guru. You didn't say I'm special compared to you or someone else, because we have to be very careful as a practitioner. Sometimes our study and practice become support for our ego rather than overcoming ego. So always think about it's a guru's blessing, the lineage blessing. And it is mentioned by the first Paul Rinpoche in the his historian book, and the Kunchim Pengar, the Pengar Jambazumbu. Kunchim is omniscience, Pengar Jambazumbus explained from Tsubu Monastery towards the east, like directly there will be the reincarnation of Kamapa. And so which later discovered the seventh Kamapa. And also the great master eighth Kamapa Majedoji, which is one of the Kamapas incarnation who composed a lot of commentaries, mentioned that when we talk about a little bit about Pengar Jamba Zombo, I will be talking about the great Buddha Pengar Jamba Zombo, who once again he was venerated by the eighth Kamapa, all incarnations, recognize the next Kamapa, etc. It's simply because he wasn't special at the beginning, but because of his life, within one lifetime, he became such great master. So this kind of, as I mentioned earlier, I know it's a curriculum teaching, but I cannot separate this from, kind of practical oriented, because this kind of story encourages us that we are ordinary people every day, like these struggles, up and downs. Never be discouraged and practice dharma or meditation. As I mentioned before, few seconds, you had a really terrible time, and then maybe next few seconds, truly practice meditation and utilize the moments, and maybe you can be a great realized, within. So this is moment by moment. It's not about how long I practice or how many mantras I'm going to recite. It's about utilizing the devotion and such. So this is the example. Someone was an ordinary individual monk, studied, and then slowly learned up great teachers, and then become enlightened. And then, so the next topic, which is fifth, how he raping or benefited sentient, how he guides students. And so Pengar Jambal Zomba had some of the special disciples. One disciple is known as Chepche Tudin Jamba Janso. Tudin, Chepche is the place, and then Tudin is the relight, and Jambal Janso was his name. And he basically kind of escaped from his homeland, and when he was 19 years old, and relying upon Pengar Jamba Zombo, he received become monk, and then because he was a kind of important person in the family, and some of the relatives was not approved, so they're trying to chase him, saying that if you don't come back, become a householder or something, become monk, we're going to punish you and your teacher. And what can you do? Sometimes human beings, does that. So then Pengar Jamba Zombo said, yeah, punish me. And he just, yeah, come on. And through his meditation, subdued all of them. And they were devoted to him. And then, so his disciple, Chauchin Jamba Zombo, became his disciple. But there is a little instruction here, which something could be very useful for us. And so this disciple received all the cycle of teachings of the pure practice and also six dhammas naropa, and stayed next, with Pengar Jamba for many years, and also teach Mahamudra. Somewhat he couldn't recognize his nature of mind. And then one day, the Pengar Jamba Zombo, who was his teacher, kind of, sang this song. And he said this, literally. The view is like a crazy people's talk. The view. And the meditation is like a old lady's preparation for death. And then conduct is like a child play, just no attachment, just play. And then resort as like the treasure of rich people. And then actual nature of mind, this mind is like that of beggars and dogs on the street. That's what he's saying. And I don't have wisdom to explain. The last part, in short, this nature of mind is like beggars, beggars and dogs who are wandering in wandering in the street and nobody cares. Could be meaning that whatever thought arises in your mind, just don't care, just simply are aware. Because beggars, dogs, like it's talked about in Tibet. Here, I mean, dogs are very, very cared, but in Tibet, so many dogs are wandering around, so nobody really, you know, cares too much. So likewise, you don't care too much about your mental activities. Simply aware them. Maybe, but I could be terribly mistaken because you have to have realization too. But anyway, after he mentioned saying that song, and then this disciple introduced nature of mind, become his art disciple. So when did Pengar and Zangpo practice in an isolated place? Approximately about 1447 and to 1462. So that could be approximate many years of in the retreat. Then after, as you know, this topic is how he taught students. So there are some very recognizable students. One of them, the seventh Kamapa, Jang Kamapa Chuda Janso. And in the year of water horse, and 1462, and Pengar Zangpo saw the his first time saw the seventh Yankama Pachuda Janso. And he offered Amitai statue. And then seventh Kamapa said, you also have you also have this Ngurumbuch statue. Why don't you offer it to me? So one hand, Pengar Zangpo was testing, and then he immediately, wow, that's omniscience of the Kamapa, and he was really inspired and offered the Guru Rinpoche's statue too. And so he gave a lot of teaching to seventh Kamapa, basically passing the lineage, because he became the lineage holder of sixth Kamapa. So he has all the empowerment, transmission, everything he gave to seventh Kamapa. So where he did that is there are like a body, speech, mind monastery of Kamakaji lineage, which started by the first Kamapa, and the Tsubu monastery is the mind seat of Kamapas. And then a Kama monastery in Kam area is the speech monastery, and then there's a Nano monastery. Akambo Kongra is the physical body, seat. So Kamapa gave all these teachings to the Pengar Jamba Zombo gave all this teaching to seventh Kamapa at Kama Monastery. Start with the long life empowerment of Amitais, including all the cycle of your teachings. Then in the wood bird year, I will a little bit struggle because these stories that I'm just sharing you is a great deal of collection from different sources, because as I mentioned that even this great historians doesn't have very detailed, so I have to put piece by piece, and so the wood bird year 1465 and the Sagadawa month, the 15th month, at Kama Monastery Temple, and the great Kamapa, seventh Kamapa, was 12 years old and become, it gave the novice vow and gave a name as Chuda Janso Palazambo, so Kamapa Chuda Janso. And teach all the Vinaya teachings, and then also all the three Pitikas, four Tantras, empowerment, and the Kala Chakra empowerment, Chakra Sambhara empowerment, Vajra empowerments, all the drop, it's called hot drop of Kamapa. There's a famous launching hinti, the hot drop of Longchenpa, the Dzogchen teachings, and also there's the third Kamapa composed known as the Kamahinti, the hot drop teachings of the third Kamapa. He gave all the cycle of those teachings and all the transmissions of the Dakini teachings and Maba's teaching. So in short, everything he gave them, including the grammars and poetry and all those common teachings. So during this teaching, and then come up and sing a lot of songs. So basically saying that even though seventh Kamapa is already, special, but he received all the realization from Pengar Jamba Zombo, not received, but through introduction. And then seventh Kamapa, the part of the song says, especially my guru is inseparable from that of Vajradhara. And then the next disciple, the famous disciple of Pengar Jamba, is the fourth Shamarmuchi Chuchitapa. And that was water ship 1463 at the Samang Monastery, and Pengar Jamba Zombo led the ceremony, and Shamarbuche become monk and gave a name as Chuda Pazong, and so gave a lot of teachings and empowerment, everything. And so Pengar Jamba Zombo also became the seventh Kamapa's tutor or teacher. and they together travel many places within Kham area and many other monasteries and non-sectarian monasteries. And then next, his disciple is Panju Tendu, is one of the Gyatso Rinpoche's incarnation, and Koshi Gyatso Rinpoche, some is Gyatso Rinpoche, and but they become sometimes disciple and teacher together. Not teacher, become disciple and Dharma friend, because they both receive teaching from sixth Kamapa. And as it mentioned by Kamachami from the Mountain Dharma, so he says, likewise, the disciple of Lord Tuan Tendin, sixth Kamapa, Pengar Jampal Zombo, Panju Tendu, and they both receive teaching and empowerment together, but because of their own karmic connection, and Pengar Jampal Zombo became the heart disciple or success, became the next golden lineage holder. And the next his disciple is the Sanji Nyemba Rinpoche, Sanji Nyemba, and that was wood monkey year, which was 1464, and Pengar Jampal Zombo became the abbot and gave a novice vow to Sanji Nyemba Rinpoche, and likewise the next topic is the sixth, which is not only those hard disciples, but there are many disciples and many other sentient beings he benefited. Basically entire Tibetan country he traveled, and many of them become established in the state of realization. And then the next is the seventh is the passing nirvana. So as I mentioned earlier, there isn't any clear date when he passed away, but because comparing different pieces of stories from different sources, and it is about the metal ox year, which is 1481. He may passed away, or Kondamjo, or part of it in the Kham area, he may passed away there. Because how he traveled, there's the biography of the seventh Kamapa that says that, some, and also some of them come from the there's the story about the Tsubu statue. So when he went there and what year that was, so it is approximate, but it's very hard, because even like Paul Rinpoche, the scholar who composed these 3 volumes, saying that he perfected his life, which means doesn't say when he passed away. There's no blueprint. I hope I used that word correctly. There's no clear blueprint. And then next is what any teachings that are composed by Pengar Jampal Zombo, and there's remember there's one of the 4th Kamapa, Mem Shama Chuda. There's always, like, whenever the great master, they always write the names, what kind of reading transmission receive, empowerment receive, and then he's talking about there's 1 volume of the Pengar Jampal Zombo, but because there were like a lot of condition changed, and it seemed like a lot of them may lost. But what we normally have, what we see nowadays, is that there's the lineage supplication of the six Dhammas Naropa, which you use in 3 retreat at Kamalai. We always did that. And then, of course, most famous is the Tabukaji lineage prayer, the one we chanted. And then a lot of songs from the Rain of Wisdom. There are a lot of songs from Pengar Zangpo. And then there's a abbreviated Guru Yoga of the first Kamapa to some Chemba. And then also he composed known as one seat practice of Chu or Severin. So those are the obvious those are some obvious teachings that he composed. And then lastly, which is the his after he passed Nirvana, they built some stupas. So Nanjong, it's a part of the Kham area, where they built a temple, and the sixth and the seventh Karmapa Chuda Janso also went there, and there was a stupa of Pengar Zangpo. And the monastery name is Yoga Pinsuta Shilembo Lane. So it's kind of a long name. So in the same year that we think that Pengar Zangpo passed away, and in the 6th month, the Shaman Chuchtaba, his disciple, went to that the place, and he paid homage to Pengar Zangpo stupa, and he said that he went there and prostrated, made offering, and also he gave some teachings in that temple. And he went there a few times. So anyway, that is a kind of brief story about Pengar Zangpo. I don't think there's any elaborated form of Pengar Zampo's biography, and but I'm just very limited resources, so don't have much knowledge. But this, I think, kind of highlights the great master Pengar Zangpo. And it's kind of once again reminds me our late teacher Kembun Buche, and it's close to end of September, and October 6th is 6th anniversary. And we are very fortunate. I know this is not part of the curriculum teaching, but you always think of your guru, and we were so fortunate to build about total, not ourselves, but some others built. Total will be about 8 stupas, different places, 3 at Kamalai Retreat Center, and 1 in Tanga Monastery where he come from, and then 1 at KTD, in library, and then 2 in Nepal, and then 1 in Kirstone, and so very special. And so I would like to include there, but I do want to say a few words related to this story. And besides, it's become a curriculum because I can see many of you have joined. Thanks so much. But please do utilize, every story we talk about. It becomes the, example of our practice, because at times we could be like a little bit lazy, or like, oh, when you practice Dharma, everybody kind of excited at the beginning, and I rely on teacher, and then emotionally, I shouldn't say emotionally, like not pure devotion, but a little bit excited, receive teachings, and then they practice, and expectations so high, very impatient, and then doesn't have much experience, and then end up losing the hope, losing the confidence, and then it's we don't see our own faults, start to talk about what's wrong with the teacher, or maybe the method or something. So this is a story that Pengar Zangpo, who was just ordinary individual and convinced with Dharma and practice. So when you really truly practice, not just left on the books or like history or information, and when you truly practice, and then maybe through your devotion, the Guru's blessing. Guru doesn't even have to be like a very famous guru. Could be a very ordinary person, or like maybe a very very special nice book. Guru can be anything, or even can be your own. The worst enemy could be your own emotion that bothers you so much. As a meditator, maybe you utilize those emotions, and on one hand you have emotion, on the other hand you feel a sense of silent, because that is your Buddha nature, and then maybe you begin to have some like confidence within your meditation, and then nobody has to really, oh, you have to practice, and then you don't have to report to teacher that how devoted you are and how much you practice, and all of those. And so Pengar Zangpo is example, and also Milarepa. Recently I gave the predetermination of Milarepa, and we could truly see that Milarepa was worse than us at the beginning, much worse, because he was, like his family lost all the positions, and he was revenged them and killed 25 people. Later regretted, and the greatest yogi ever appeared in Tibet, even like not only Tibet, like India, the whole world, simply because his true renunciation, true devotion, true compassion, and even like he was worse than us at the beginning, because none of us, I believe, killed any human beings. So that's it. I think that's what we get from this kind of teachings, not just because, oh, I'm studying and then write a lot of notes, and then oh, it was cool, and then kind of left empty. Well, I supposed to last up till 9:30, I guess, but I just we have some time, and I'm happy to open some questions, and maybe Yantila can lead us.
Okay, if you'd like to ask a question, I ask you to put a question into the chat.
I see some chats here. Sorry, I can't read Chinese. Hello all, Sonam. Everyone here. I expected Chinese translation, but waiting for translator. Yeah, we also talk. I know. Sorry. 不好意思啊，我一般来讲，他们自己参加都没有看见。
No questions so far.
Yeah, they're becoming like Pengar Zangpo, just meditating, utilizing every moment. All right, no questions, and that's wonderful. And thank you so much, everybody, for your time. And also I apologize that I should have all these special, PowerPoints, which I don't really have, and I'm kind of traditional, trying to follow Rinpoche's footstep. That sounds very, very arrogant, but just trying to go in that direction when you teach, because Rinpoche was every teaching he gave is affected with the mind, and so through the blessing, if there's something I said good, may it benefit for your Dharma paths. If I said something wrong, I was very, very careful about this research, and I did all my best. And if it's something wrong, it's not my fault. I just joke. I confess, because I did find this source in different places. So lastly, we did want to dedicate the merit of tonight's session for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment.
Lama Karma, we did get a question.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, you mentioned the Karma Yentik, and I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Wonderful question. I'm not so good about this stuff, even though I started 5 years in Dharma school, but there's common hint because the third Kamapa Ranzan Doji was closely associated with the Longchenpa, so he received teaching, each other, and then Kaman Hinti is like a visionary, almost like came to the Kamapa, and then he compiled these all teachings. And personally, I don't have transmission, I don't have instructions, so it's yeah. I don't really know very details about Kaman Hinti. Oh, more. Okay, I believe Lama mentioned that Pengar and Zangpo studied under the fourth Kamapa early on at Tsubo Monastery. Is that correct? Confirming he lived through 3 Kamapas. Yeah, according to my research says that. So I just quote. Would you, Lama Kama, please repeat the song by Pengar and Zangpo on the view? Repeat. Yeah, there are few songs, and the one was like when he received teaching from and the sixth Kamapa and come to realization, and he was talking about Tsende Jalama Jai, Tsende Jalama Chele means there are hundreds of like famous masters, but there's only one kind guru. So that's how song begins. And then the other song is like when he saw the seventh Kamapa was born and through his vision, and then he was talking about, I'm just singing this song from the empty valley, etc. And then also they were like talk about his realization part. The realization song was I think it's page 4. Maybe page 2. Hello, Tamashin Bajan Sente, Song Kong Pumbo, Chichi, Kong Pumbo, Chichi, Nazo, Layadan Jawe Gur, no Tagayo, Chito Chen, Alonge Javani, the name, Mado Jesam de Beje, Elonga Java, no Tagayo, Chito Chen, Sande Don Saja Chembo, Temesa Lenje. The Jugong on the long that was his talk about his body speech man transformed into like a deity and Parana and Mahamudra. So another lesson. All right, thank you everybody. So let's dedicate the merit of this evening session for the benefit of all sentient beings. And we truly dedicate this for the world and long life of all the great masters and Sons Kamapa and all the eminences. Also, we pray for all the sentient beings, and there's a lot of shooting going on, a lot of natural disasters, and These are something we can see on news, but a lot of sentient beings like animals and in the forest and the water, they suffer so much and can't, we can't see them. So we sincerely dedicate this marriage for them. And I that's the dedication. Jagai ninja lonza gama ba jagai dele jedu gama jagai donza ongara gama ba uji donde dele shaute zo Sona ende ye tanje zeba nye tane nye ba dana banze Yega nanje balo indruva ye sebe zole doga nyo doisho Jambala balo injedra jamba dagande sambo teya teje Teda genje jesu dala jege wande da danje rade Sanje gozo yebe zela da jenye menje dembe zela Kende mejen dembe zela je jedra ngowa melan dobra jo Deje le jan jave dele bagama bade dembe nyem Tondara ganja jaje jime je dabai rabe bewa trashi yo. One thing, yeah, uh, like Kembo Rinpoche, Kembo Kantar Rinpoche lived through uh, three incarnations of Younger Rinpoche and also Tali Rinpoche. So if you Benga Jamba Zombo, as it mentioned by and the first Pawatsulat was saying that his life was completed. So yeah, because some of the unfortunately the fourth Kamapa and the fifth Kamapa they didn't live that long. Some of the incarnations, so it's understandable. All right, adios. Thank you so much. You guys great and hasta la ahora. Luego. Bye bye.